Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please adjust your volume to its maximum capacity and prepare for some great times. Welcome to the Blowed Out Podcast. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. How are you? Hopefully everybody's doing good on this Mother's Day week of May. Just a little bit of a tidbit there for those of you who may not have realized it or forgotten. Be sure to either get on Wish and order up the old lady some sort of goodie, or send your mom some flowers. Be sure and tell her thanks for not falling down the stairs with you. Be sure you tell her you love her. Not gonna lie, this is a do-over. I made a rookie-ass mistake. Really kicking myself in the beanbag for it right now. I had a half a episode already done up, and my laptop decided to restart or do an update or something, and my dumbass didn't save it. I just walked away, so it dumped a half episode. So here I am starting over. So I hope there was nothing super funny or entertaining in it, at least that I can't remember to do over. I know that I was going to tell you guys that I did our little bullshit news deep dive that you're so fond of, that I've forced myself to stop looking at because it's always the same damn thing. So I came up with a little recap. And this was, as of not this moment, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing that it was the last time I recorded this. Here's your news. All the news that's approved and ready for consumption. Biden's still an idiot. Trump's still an idiot. Ukraine is still a thing. China's still a thing. Stock market's in the toilet. All that shit sucks. That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. Don't worry about it anything other than that, unless it somehow pertains to you exclusively or specifically. Just head on out and enjoy the weather and enjoy your life. Realize that there's not a whole lot we can do about it except sit back and watch. So, based on that, I also was going to mention that this time of year really takes a toll on me physically and mentally. I think the barometric pressure up and down, usually it's a little bit earlier in the year, or at least, for the past many years here in Utah, it's been a little bit earlier in the year. Usually this hits me about March, but winter just wanted to keep hanging on this year, so it's hitting me now. Rainy and 50 one day, 80 and sunny the next, back to rainy and 50. Every time it does that, man, it just jacks my back all to hell. My cankles, my knees, everything that's been busted or blowed out, got screws in it or anything else. But also mentally, and I wanted to mention that just because, it's important. If you guys, anybody for that matter, if anybody's struggling, just needs somebody to talk to, no, this isn't a segue for any of these online therapy services. However, I am available, first of all, if anyone's listening that would like me to segue their therapy services. But also, there's nothing wrong with that. Being almost 50, I do recall a time, when I was young, in my lifetime, that it was, now stop being a pussy, just suck it up and deal with it. And I'm not going to lie, there's a part of that that's still ingrained in me. But I also realize that, nowadays that stigma is not necessarily surrounding mental health as much as it used to, at least. And there's no shame in reaching out. If you need to talk to somebody, and just like me sitting here talking to you guys, it does a lot of good just to get some stuff off your mind, just to talk to somebody. So again, not pimping any specific thing other than take care of yourselves. Especially with all the crazy shit going on in the world, it's easy to let that stuff feel like some sort of impending doom, or, grocery prices and just the price of trying to stay alive nowadays can be really daunting. And rather than letting it get you in a place that you may not be able to come back from, God forbid, reach out to somebody. Anybody. Hell, reach out to me. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty shitty about getting back to people, dealing with my own mess. Not that I won't try, and not that I don't care. If I can, I absolutely will. I'll help any way I possibly can, as long as I'm able to hold it together myself. So, as I said, bottom line, don't try and hide it. Don't feel like you have to. Reach out to somebody, talk. Let's everybody love everybody, everybody help everybody. It's the only way we're all going to make it. So, just throwing that out there. Another little tidbit of public safety awareness, or Christ, sometimes I think it's ridiculous that I even feel like possibly some of this is necessary to tell anyone, but at least around here, and with all the snow coming off, use your heads, people. Common sense. Realize it's not that common anymore, but everybody's got to have at least a little bit, right? Rivers are running like a madman. We've had several people locally recently disappear, get washed away, all the mess. If you're going to go hiking and, down to see how high the river is and everything else, be smart, for hell's sake. Don't get too close to the dam edge. Everything's muddy. I don't give a shit how good of a swimmer you are, or what kind of skills you think you possess. You fall in that baby, you're gone. That's just it. When the rivers are touching the bottoms of the bridges and logs blowing down through there and everything else, fast as shit, cold, you ain't got a chance. You have no chance. Maybe in the first 12 seconds if you can grab a log or a branch. But man, as soon as you get to one of them bridges, plunk, it's going to be lights out. When you crack your bean on that bitch and get tucked up under there, you just gone. So be smart about it. Get out and enjoy it. Check it out. It's something to see, but use your heads. Use your heads, kids. Nobody needs to go dealing with that mess on top of everything else. You think the bags under your eyes are bad now? Wait till your bloated ass gets fished out of the river with a stick on the end of a 15-foot rope from Search and Rescue. You're not going to look your best, I promise. Speaking of time to get out and enjoy the outdoors and things to do, a lot of you guys know, or hell, I may have mentioned it, who knows, but we used to be pretty heavily involved with Widowmaker, the big dirt bike hill climbs here in Utah. Unfortunately, Widowmaker has gone away due to some unfortunate reasons. However, she gone. But the new, it's the only hill climb left in Utah. X12 is this weekend for anybody in and around, I guess, northern Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, hell, wherever you may be. The X12 hill climb event is going on this weekend up near the Utah-Idaho border. there's a solid chance that, man, some of the boys are gonna have a little reunion tour, put the band back together, and maybe go up and run some bikes up the hill. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm old and fat now. I'll be on the starting line, but same thing there. You may be able to spot some of us, but it's a good time. As far as I can, you can go to x12.com, I believe. I guess I should probably double check that. For more information, you can definitely Google X12. For more information, there's camping and things, but they kick off Friday, I believe, with the women's classes and some of the smaller bike classes. And then Saturday they'll have 600 Pro, 450 Pro, all the pro guys and some of the bigger bikes. Then I believe Sunday, which, as we all know, is Mother's Day, they're going to have the open class, so you'll see a lot of the really big bikes, a lot of the really badass stuff. So, if mom or the old lady is into that kind of stuff, by all means, head on up and have some fun. It's guaranteed to be a great time. But if not, maybe at least get up and check it out Saturday or Friday or both. Again, check out their website for more details. Like I said, we're probably going to head up and have some fun. Try and get some stuff done up there. But, as a side note, don't go pissing off the old lady. Granted, a night on the couch always sounds like a little staycation, but it never is. It never is. They'll find some reason to interrupt your quiet night alone on the couch. Blister their biscuit or God knows what. Sooner or later, they'll come a hollering. So, as enticing as it sounds to get out of all that mess by just spending a night on the couch in the doghouse, usually never pans out that way. So, play at your own risk, I guess, is the best way to put it. How was everybody's Cinco de Mayonnaise? Probably could have done a show, even though I didn't do anything. So hopefully everybody survived it, made it out unscathed. I'm sure there was plenty of cheap beer and diarrhea to go around. Speaking of, you cannot make this shit up. Last Friday, I'm standing here, and I had taken the dog out to water the lawn. I'm standing there having a smoke, and there's some construction next to me here. Some new buildings going in, and there's a honey bucket sitting over there. So as I'm standing out there smoking and letting the dog water the lawn, I hear tires screeching. Like somebody coming in hot, but I can't see him yet. And I'm thinking, God, sounds like they're coming this way. Maybe I start to kind of think, shit, I better get the dog away from the edge of the road or whatever. So I call the dog, and sure enough, here comes this clapped out shit box of a white Chevy van. Half the paint's peeled off, whatever was in the form of logos or lettering and everything else is peeled off and faded. And, just a real shit box. Comes screeching up the, hauling balls. Hooks the corner, tires screeching. Screeches to a halt. The hazards on. The emergency flashers are going. Slams this thing in park like a bat out of hell. Opens the door. And instantly all you hear is, see. Some Oompa Loompa music going. And this dude bails out of this van and dives into that honey bucket. Like, and I'm thinking, what in the hell just happened? And then it dawns on me. Holy shit, it's Cinco de Mayonnaise. And you cannot make this up. And I'm like, God damn it, where's my phone? How can I not get this on video? So I'm rolling. He's in there, I assume, making menudo or, a mountain of mole or pozole or some other probably lunch special from, or Cinco de Mayo lunch special from somewhere that probably did to him what it did to a lot of you guys. I hope not, but for like 4 or 5 minutes later, he comes out, gets in the van, just backs out, and drives away. No, like nothing ever happened. It was so funny. It just, between that and the fact that it was Cinco de Mayo, it could not have gone any better if I wrote that in a script. It was epic, and I appreciate that dude for giving me a hell of a good laugh. So if you're that dude, sorry about your butthole, bro. To the sweetheart in the honey bucket truck, I'm sorry for whatever you had to deal with in there. But, good on you for being a badass and doing whatever you got to do to, I hope, for your sake, make them big bucks. Sucking out all that Cinco de Mayo. I said I was laughing my ass off. Gross and horrific as it was. I apologize for not getting that on video so that I could post that to the Blowed Out site. Because, damn it, that was perfect. Perfect timing, perfect day. You just, like I said, you couldn't have made it up better. But I guess I just got to hone my camera skills. Usually I'm, just taking unsolicited nasty pics that you don't have to be very quick on your shutter speed for. Speaking of posting stuff on the Facebook page, what would you guys like to see? I'd sure love to hear your feedback. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. How about we do a check-in? If you've got half a second, hit up the Facebook page, Blowed Out Podcast. Let's check in. Everybody give me a shout out or a check-in or a selfie, on the Facebook page. Let's see what everybody's up to. Or drop me a message or a line and, let me know, what would you like to hear? What would you like to see? Give me some ideas. This is not only, not just about me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Show ideas, requests, questions and answers, whatever you guys are thinking. Hit me up. Like I said, Facebook, Blowed Out Podcast, or blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com. Let's do some events. If you guys have got a car show or, a big event coming up and you'd like me to put it out there, or hell, might be fun to have me show up. Maybe I'll show up in a halter top and some Daisy Dukes and try and do some cartwheels, as a sideshow at your car show or your barbecue or your swap meet or whatever you got going on. Hit me up. Let me know, would you? Be interesting to get some of this stuff going. Like I said, question and answers. I think it'd be super cool. Pictures, terrible tattoos, whatever. I think getting you guys involved sounds like fun to me. I think I can even handle the hate comments. I think we could have a lot of fun. Hell, with all the, end of school year stuff going on. I mean, I've got a lot of it going on myself with my 2 Rugrats, but, Lord, send me some graduation pictures, whatever. If you want me to come in, I'd love to MC your bar mitzvah, or maybe, maybe have a little, I don't know, like a balloon release for your grandma for her 5th wedding, or Christ, sorry, that's terrible. But I don't know. I think we could have a lot of fun. I just would love to get involved and get you guys involved. I think we could have a lot of fun. If you see me out and about, if you're local, hit me up. I've always got stickers on me. I mean, all you have to do is just kind of shit. You can throw a chicken nugget and I'll stop. I mean, it's not even like you have to remember my name, but you just throw a chicken nugget or beer. Beer always works. That'll get my attention and we can go from there. I'd love to meet you guys. I'd love to talk to you. Not going to give out my phone number if you don't already have it. It's possible. It's possible. I do have a pretty good radio voice. Just kidding. It's phone sex. Purely phone sex voice. They'd never allow me on the radio. I know. I tried for years. I mean, I could go on and name names, but I won't. I actually, back in the day, interviewed for X96. For those of you who are local, been around a minute, know that station. Had some real issues with that. I feel like, maybe they let a good thing go, but at the end of the day, maybe they made the right decision, because clearly I'm not for everyone, and on a live platform, they would probably have some serious regrets. Also, I just want to mention that being my own engineer, sound engineer, which probably is evident in a lot of these episodes or in a lot of these segments, you don't realize how much your dumbass says certain things until you go back and listen to them over and over again. It's funny because I liken it to the process that I end up going through in my graphic design work. Most of you guys know by now that I own a small fabrication and signed company with my best friend, Evolution Design Works. The reason I say it's funny, and I liken my editing process to my design work, is when a customer comes to me and says, hey, I want you to make me a sign or make me a sticker or whatever. I say, okay, what are you looking for? If they just want some sort of a, hey, make me a whatever, a cool skull. God forbid there's any more skulls in the world. However, they say, I just want a skull, and I want it to say, for instance, Dirty Max. I say, okay, well, what font would you like? And they always, the ones, ideally, they know exactly what font they want, or at least a style of font they want. So I go in and I input whatever, Dirty Max in this case, into my software. And then I start rifling through all of the particular styles of fonts that are similar to something they want. Well, when you've got a bank of, say 5,000 fonts, you put in Dirty Max in this case, and then you just start scrolling through these fonts, font after font after font after font. Eventually, you start to question yourself as to whether or not what you're looking at is even spelled correctly, because just the repetitive nature of scrolling and looking at it in 5,000 different ways, your brain starts to tell you that it's, Jesus, is that even spelled right? It's ridiculous. So what I realize is what I'm driving at is that by editing these episodes by myself, I go back through and I go, oh my God, do you even realize how many times you say, or I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's, could be a lot of fun. Jesus, Ryan, really? Is it going to be a lot of fun? Could it be a lot of fun? You think it'd be a lot of fun? Or, oh, I hope it doesn't come across that way, because when I listen back to it, it's really maddening how many times I say, I apologize. I will try and throttle myself on that, but truth be known, it's just going to keep happening, and I hope you like it. So I actually think that it's a built-in device, much like comedic timing, for folks who need to buffer. One of the unofficial executive producers of this show, Shane, I'm not even going to say shout out anymore. We were just talking about this last night. Some of a lot of people's favorite comedians are the ones who have really long, timing. Yeah, God damn it. There, I did it again. Sorry. Like Ron White, for instance, he says, he fires off a joke and then pauses. And then there's other guys like Andrew Schultz who fire off a whole bunch of jokes and then pause. It's basically, I'm going to fire off one sentence and pause and allow you to buffer and stay caught up, or I'm going to fire off an entire paragraph and then pause and allow you to buffer and catch up. Really, and we just kind of had this epiphany. It wasn't really an epiphany for me, but that's really what it is. It's the pause for, now I'm gonna catch myself every time. Sorry. It's the pause for what you assume, not even assume, but possibly even yourself to buffer what you just said and then allow the response to kick in. It's funny. It's interesting. It's not even a planned thing. You just kind of do it. In this case, you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times already that it's pretty hard to just sit here and stare, like into the ether and decide what's going to come out of my cake hole next. So for me, in this instance, I feel like there's a lot of buffering on the delivery part. But, if I was in a situation where I was just rapid firing into a crowd, say at a party or an open mic or whatever, I may feel like that the majority of the crowd can keep up. Let's rapid fire off a bunch of things and then let that simmer or come to a boil. It's just funny and interesting that until you actually think of it that way, it really doesn't make sense. And then you just kind of, oh yeah, okay, that's a thing. And it's okay. That's a good thing. And some people don't exactly keep up. It's not even keep up, but sometimes you gotta allow things to sink in for a minute before they really hit home. Even a grenade has a 5-second delay before it goes off. You throw a grenade out there, you got a good 5 seconds to think about what you've done before it blows up. So a lot of the knows or the howevers or the just the little ticks or, I don't know, idiosyncrasies. I think that's the proper way to say it. and the proper context of my delivery, even in this podcast, is not only allowing for me to analyze what I'm going to say, but also for it to sink in and properly hit the right note for the listener. Something dumb we were talking about, but it was, again, it's crazy to think about it that way, but also funny. Some people just don't process it as fast, or it's not as funny if you don't fully process it and allow it to hit home before moving on. All those things being said, I kind of feel like I'm going to go ahead and cash out for this episode. I wasn't really wanting to, but man, I've had so many damn interruptions this morning. I'm still dealing with this horse shit contractor business. It's not even the same one. Now we've moved on to the next horse shit contractor for what is going to end up being literally, 10 minutes worth of work, at least as far as the wall and the baseboards and things are concerned, to put my basement back together. And at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. It's white now. Just slap some primered ass white baseboard back on it. It'll still look white. Nobody's going to know it isn't painted unless you get real close. Christ. But the carpet's still all jacked up and everything else. Like, this is just ridiculous. And sadly, it's only a couple of people's fault. None of which are the wonderful people who are trying to actually get it remedied. So, maybe 2024 will be the year of a studio. At least at this location. Christ, I don't know. At this point, it's just ridiculous. But every time I get interrupted, I have to pause, and then I have to try and go back and figure out where I left off. And you lose steam. You have so many things you want to talk about, and so many things that we could talk about. And man, I could just keep rambling, but it's every time I get interrupted or I come back to it, I feel like it just gets more random. Every time I pick back up, I have to try and, if I can't pick back up, I have to try and move on to the next subject or somehow get back into rambling and pick speed back up. It's pretty frustrating. So it'd be really nice if I could get this all sewn up, get my ass downstairs into at least the closest thing I may ever have to a real studio. And then I won't give a shit. I'll just close the door and it'll be downstairs. I won't hear the doorbell or anything else. I'll turn off my phone and we can just roll. Everybody can come over. We can shoot the shit. We can have all the guests, all the stuff. That also being said, excuse me, I need a burp button, like a burp or a hiccup or like a heartburn button that I can just push and kind of mute the audio for every time that happens. But I do have everything set up for mobile because of all this basement mess. So next week, I am planning, between now and next week, I've got a couple of things up my sleeve. Fuck it, we're going to go on the road. I'm tired of making excuses for you guys. It's time to just do it. So much like the episode where we're hanging out at the shop, I'm just going to take all this bullshit and we're going to go have some fun and interview some folks and hang out with some folks and do whatever we got to do just to keep it rolling. So I've got a couple of things up my sleeve. I know I promised that a lot and I apologize. Everybody that knows me knows I hate sleeves, so there can't be too much up there. I don't like sleeves, but we're going to get there. So hopefully we'll the next time you hear from me will be some good action. In the meantime, if you know anybody, or if you would like a little bit of advertisement space on the podcast here, get at me. I'd really like to start picking up some sponsors. Maybe at least pay for the platform that I'm bringing it to you guys on. I don't want to do a Patreon thing. If you guys want to listen, you want to listen, and I love you for it. I don't want to charge you. That's just dumb. So I'd rather pick up some advertisers, or some Only Feet or some shit. Ugh. I lied. You guys know me. Fuck feet. No Only Feet. So gonna have to pick up a sponsor or two just to keep paying for the hosting platform, if nothing else. It'd be super cool. I'm cheap and easy. And we're gaining viewers. I would also like to ask you guys that if you are enjoying it, or if you enjoy it, I know I've asked before, but tell your friends, just pass it on. Maybe toss it out there to somebody who hasn't heard it yet. Let's see if we can't keep this biatch rolling and pick up some new listeners and some new friends. Possibly, like I said, a sponsor or two. And if any of the things I mentioned before sound good as far as advertising or events or whatever, hit me up again, just in case I hadn't mentioned it 15 times already. blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com, Blowed Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. Hit me up, holler at your boy, let's have a beer, let's do something. And we'll hopefully talk to you guys, or hopefully you guys will hear from me here real soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everybody stays safe. Have a great weekend, y'all. Happy Mother's Day. Love y'all. Thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.